Welcome. This video is meant to provide an overview of my self-affirming icebreaker. So I will go ahead and share my screen. And so this is my assignment that I created. I've got the deadlines at the top. I've included a purpose statement around why we should value each other's lived experiences and how this kind of activity can foster productive and lively discussion while we honor and celebrate each other. I have a What's Flip overview section just to introduce them to the tool. The instructions here, pretty boilerplate, but just kind of explaining the deadlines again, that they should be using Chrome, and then that they can record a video or an audio response and how to select the mic only option. So my prompt, I want them to share their preferred name and pronouns, and then tell us about a story, book, poem, song, or movie that they've read, heard, or watched that validated an aspect of their identity, and that being cultural, political, gender identity, familial, ancestral, any identity. So what was the story and what was the story about and what aspect of their identity did it validate? I've got the grading criteria here. I don't use any points, and so they're going to see a narrative score of accomplished excellent work if they do these things. Given them resources, including the getting started with flip page and instructions for changing camera and microphone. So I'll go ahead and open the flip and I'll go into student view. And so I've copied the prompt in here and then I've recorded this prompt video.
Hi everyone, you made it to the icebreaker flip activity. This video is just meant to offer a brief explanation of how to complete this assignment. So you'll see in the prompt that I'm asking for two items. First, I'd like you to share your preferred name and pronouns. And then the second thing, in the same video response, I'd like you to tell us a story about a book, a poem, a story, a song, or movie that you have read, heard, or watched that validated an aspect of your identity. So this could be cultural, familial, gender identity, anything at all. So tell us, what was that story? What was it about? And what aspect of your identity did it validate for you? And so I will share mine first to kind of show some courage, and I look forward to connecting with you and seeing what you all come up with.
So that was my prompt video, and then I also recorded the first response down below so students can get a sense of what I'm looking for and also just learn a bit about me. So I'll go ahead and play that.
Hi everyone. So my name is Bree Brown. My pronouns are she and her. And the book that I'm excited to share with you all is called The Power by Naomi Alderman. And this book really spoke to me on so many levels. Essentially, it's about kind of an infection, if you will, that the women get. And it's like an electrical current that runs through their bodies. And they are able to overpower men. And so the book kind of goes through how that power reversal affects different aspects of society. And of course, it's a science fiction book. And so there's a few main characters, and I feel like I have aspects of each of their identities. There's a young woman who I have been at one point in my life. There is a leader, a political leader, and although I'm not a political leader, I feel like I've taken on some more leadership recently. And her character specifically has to figure out how to contain the power, but she's also trying to empower the women around her and the young girls. And then there's a black man as well who is a feminist who fights and advocates for women's rights. And that really resonated with me because my husband is black and he also is I would consider a feminist as well. And so that rang true for me, being his wife. And so the book really just validated me as a woman. It made me kind of recognize the power imbalances even more that exist in our current society, but then also how we can empower young girls and women to live in their femininity and advocate for themselves. So yeah, this is a great read. I strongly recommend it. for both men and women. The great thing is that Alderman is not arguing that women should overpower men. She's arguing for balance. And so it's something that I really agree with as well, and something that I try to practice in our own household. So, yeah, this was very validating to many of my cultural identities. Thanks for listening.
And so hopefully, my students will feel like they have a good sense of the assignment and that they will be encouraged to share openly about their cultural identities. And that is my self-affirming icebreaker. Thanks so much for listening.